we're here with Pardeep Kohli, CEO of the newly formed Mavenir, in the Mavenir booth on the floor of Mobile World Congress. Pardeep, thanks so much for joining us here today.
Adi.
Now, just this week, this Mavenir has sort of come together. It's been created by the combination of 3 different companies. Can you talk a little bit about how that came about and what kind of organizational changes were required?
Yeah, that's a good question. It took about 6 months. So Series Capital was a private equity company based in New York. They bought Zura in August last year. Then we announced the deal that Series Capital is going to buy Mitel Mobile and Ranzor on December 19th last year. And we just closed it this week, putting all the 3 companies together. This is actually a good turning event for the industry because now we have the complete portfolio. So Ranzor was doing Cloud RAN, Zura had products in the messaging space, and Mavenir, which was also called Mitel Mobile, had all the core products. So when you put all these 3 companies together, now we have end-to-end wireless network in a software, NFV, SDN fashion, and ready for 5G deployment. So it brings a big opportunity for us.
And what new features or capabilities do you think that this combined entity can bring to the industry as a whole?
So if you look at the industry has gone through a lot of changes over the last 5-10 years. There's a lot of vendor consolidation. So now there are effectively 4 companies left: Ericsson, Nokia, Huawei, and ZTE. And these 4 companies are focused on providing proprietary solutions, very hardware centric, and very services oriented companies. And they, as you know, they have over 100,000 people and very focused on building their own proprietary hardware and software, and that's the business model. What we are doing is actually based on more open architecture, so software only solution, and it's a new change for the industry. So we'll be about 2,500 people and about 400 million revenue. So we are kind of number 5 in the sense that if you look at where we fall in the ladder, but if you look at who's the number 1 company purely based on open software for the whole portfolio, starting today we are actually number 1, and other people have to catch up. So I think that's a big change for us.
What is your sort of take on some of the big trends that you think will be affecting the industry in coming years?
As you know, there's more and more data growth. People are using data quite a bit, which is causing more cost pressure to the operators, but they are not able to get the revenue out of it, and which means that they have to do something different to make the changes. And as I talked about a few minutes ago, there's only few vendors left. And if you look at over the top players like Google and Facebook, the way they are doing things is all data centers, open software, and at much lower cost. So operators have to now think of doing something different, and that's a really a big change we noticed, because in the past they were very much relying on their existing vendors. Now they're coming to companies like us and saying, okay, then big vendors are not solving our problem. We are willing to work with you, just help us out on how to go about it. So this is where I believe actually it's good for our companies like us, because the cost pressure on the operators are forcing them to do things differently, and they're looking at how to follow what the IT industry does and adopt more open source and more software-oriented solutions.
If you had to summarize, and just pick one thing to say to the industry, what would that be?
I think there's a big change coming, and if operators don't change, I believe things are will get out of the control, and there'll be a meltdown. And it will be companies like us who can actually provide the solution. And it won't be just like us, but it will have to build an ecosystem which is purely based on openness rather than closed systems in the past.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Pardeep. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks.